Everton, previous record 4-7-11. 11 finals, only 4 of them won. Not a perfume that the supporters from Goodison Park have fully enjoyed. Manchester United, this is their record 13th appearance. Everton have played in 4 finals before Manchester United won it for the first time, but only in one of those 4 were Everton successful. The hairstyles, always interesting, so are the rosettes. Waits for the teams having made their way from the dressing room, where there would have been a little bit of a contrast. In the Everton dressing room, not too much of a team talk. Alex Ferguson holding his team up. He would have made a few tactical points. Neville Southall, who came out already dressed without his suit like the rest of the team. Very relaxed Alex Ferguson, he says that comes from experience. Joe Royle played in 1968 against West Bromwich Albion, finished on the losing side, remembers well that West Bromwich Albion put Everton out of their stride that day. That went into the back of the mind, and I suspect will be used this afternoon. A little reluctant, it seems. They've made this journey before, led by Steve Bruce. The United team, as they come out, will immediately see their supporters. The Everton supporters are at the tunnel end. And they will walk through a group of children from southeast London who have banners of years of past cup finals in which these 2 famous sides have appeared. Two managers, good chums for many years, and that shows. But this man, what must be his feelings? Eric Cantona. One or two are successful in spotting faces in the crowd. Expressions can sometimes give away some secrets, but these 2 hugely experienced, Steve Bruce and his Danish goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel. United now going to the left as we look, the blue of Everton formed up on the right. The Royal Party, and Joe Royle ends up with the same team that played so well in the semi-final, and as he felt that was their best performance of the season, Trevor Brooking, that was not a surprising decision.
No, I think it's a great boost in confidence to the players who are starting the match. I suppose they know that you've got Ferguson and Amakachi there sitting on the wings. I think the 2 key people for me, of course, Parkinson and Horne do sort of harass the opposition and win the possession, but I think Graham Stewart, the number 8, just behind Rideout, will float around, and I think he was the man of the match in the semi-final against Spurs. And Anders Limpar, what mood is that gentleman in today? He can be so exciting on his day, and he, I think, will have to be influential if Everton are to score the goals they need.
And how is the Manchester United mood? after the happenings of last Sunday. And the chance was there to hold on to their title, and they couldn't take it. The one decision that had to be made by Alec Ferguson: did he start with Ryan Giggs, who's been out since the semi-final replay, or did he put him on the bench? There is certainly a good argument for packing the midfield in the early stages and bringing on Giggs when a few legs may tire.
Well, of course, that was the tactic Alex Ferguson actually played at Goodison Park, well, back in February now, when in fact they went down 1-0. They tried to compete with that Everton midfield, and Keane, Button, Ince played very close together. Whether Keane will play wide right, we shall have to see as the game begins. But I do think then, if Manchester United want to play their natural game, they need to stretch Everton and not cramp together so as they can get their tackles in. And of course, Brian McClair just tucked in behind Mark Hughes, and they team up so impressively together.
Two old friends as captains. Just 10 years ago, they were in the same team playing for Norwich City here at Wembley in the League Cup final. Steve Bruce on the left, Dave Watson on the right, and Gerald Ashby from Worcester in the middle. But the substitutes today could be a key. Duncan Ferguson with his hands to his face, and Daniel Amakachi at the back with somebody he's trying to spot, and many will be trying to spot him, watching in Nigeria. And at what stage will we see Ryan Giggs? A young man who hasn't yet done himself justice at Wembley. The other substitute, Paul Scholes, and of course two substitute goalkeepers. Gerard Ashby, who was the fourth official last year, has refereed a Charity Shield in '93 between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. And it's only his second game here at the age of 45. He's an administrative and finance manager with a chemical company. Neville Southall, resplendent in yellow, takes his place in the goal to our left. Internationals at both ends. Peter Schmeichel of Denmark. Southall, a survivor of '85, as indeed is Mark Hughes, who will be trying to win for a fourth time, and that would be a Wembley record. Paul Ince, key man in the side. Referee having a quiet walk. He too will have a few nerves, and he's not going to start it before the appointed hour. Conversation with Andy Hitchcliffe, everybody smiling at the start. I may continue.
Not very often that you get all the players line up 2 minutes before 3 o'clock. The proceedings beforehand obviously hurried through, caught everyone on the hop.
And there's a sad picture. For them, there are no tickets. England manager at the back, behind Ken Bates, who was here with his club, Chelsea, 12 months ago. Losing, of course, to Manchester United. And I think we should say, bless you. Eric Cantona, who will stay, and rightly, to prove that he's a man to repay to Manchester United what he owes them. Andy Cole at the back there, he's cup-tied. Just played the one match for Newcastle in round 3. Set. The 114th FA Cup final, sponsored by Littlewoods Bulls. The first final will be sponsored. It's up and running. Hughes, Ince, Keane. Butt has started wide of Keane. Neville Southall, like his opposite number, getting an early feel of the ball. It's been said of Neville Southall that he begins every game looking like he's just finished the previous one. But still a fine goalkeeper. One by Pallister. One by Watson. One by Bruce. Keane, aggressively and fairly claimed. Comes down to Hughes, who was aware of the earlier run by Butts. First attempt on goal, and Lee Sharp gets to his feet, having met Butts' cross.
Good positive opening, actually. It was a hanging cross. He just couldn't get above it and knob it down, but good move, and they picked up one or two of the early loose balls, Manchester, and you see Butt there is going to, I think, occupy Andy Hinchcliffe on the left and Keane alongside Ince.
Parkinson. Keane. Hughes. Three have taken attacking positions, slightly away from McClare. Sharp. Owen is free on the left side. Watson gets the clearance in, and here's Limpar, and it's a 4-on-2 break. Stewart wants it to the left, Jackson wants it to the right, Rideout wants it down the middle. Still Matt Jackson. Oh, off the crossbar and out from Stewart, and then in. Rideout. And the debate goes on between captain and goalkeeper. But they got so terribly outnumbered. Limpar had so many options. The only danger was that he wasn't going to pick the right one. It worked out in the end. Jackson played it across. Stewart off the underside of the crossbar, clearly stayed out, and Rideout just had to meet it to give Everton the lead.
Well, this is a relief player, Graham Stewart, because he should have scored. Bounced down, not over the line, and Paul Rideout did very well. Jumped, kept it down, and well, I'm just so amazed that Manchester United were caught 4 against 2 defensively, weren't they? And credit to Everton, having soaked up all the pressure, they made the most of those extra players. 8 outfield men caught forward, look at that, not certainly over the line, and Steve Bruce tried to cover, but again, he was one of those 2 defenders against 4, and with a bad hamstring.
What a change! Disbelief at such an opportunity should be missed. Ends with a quiet clap of congratulation to the scorer, who was just in the right place after the mistake by Stewart.
I think Joe Roll headed the ball as well, didn't he? He was waiting.
A little touch. Clipped up for Bruce. Well met by Unsworth. Shot by Butt, which he thought had been deflected for the corner. Talked during the week to him about getting involved, and admitted sometimes he sees pictures of himself that he thinks, surely not me. It's a hard job being a manager. Bruce certainly is getting better, but now he's caught Limpar. Stewart down the middle, in comes Irwin. Now Stewart could have had 2. Had 2 in the last game of last season. He could have had 2 in the FA Cup final.
And again, they caught them on the counter-attack, didn't they? Lost possession in a dangerous situation. That was a beautiful weighted ball, and hit it straight at Schmeichel. Touches and just went over his head, and Butt got the header away for the corner.
Just a little over 4 minutes of the half left. Everton on top. Driven in again, and it was won by Ablett, but he couldn't keep it down sufficiently. excellent corner. Look for the dark head. He got there.
Just made too strong a contact there. Just needed to brush him, but he hit it too firmly and it went up. Could have easily gone in the net. I mean, I think when they're hit like that, they're impossible to defend against.
Bruce, who's clearly now going to wait until half-time. On by Sharp. Hughes battles for it too strongly. Owen. Where is the inspiration for Manchester United? McClare, Owen. Lynch who started it, and it just didn't quite come off.
Dennis Irwin has been making a lot of runs down the left, but they've been unable to get Lee Sharp, who is their only natural wide player, into the game as much as they would like, because he is a good crosser of the ball, and at present they've stifled the supply to him, and of course with Ryan Giggs on the bench, that will be the early option in the second half to get another particular wide man onto the pitch.
Rideout, scorer of the goal which divides the teams, and Gerard Ashby has a few moments on his watch to allow. Here's McClare. Butt coming in, not seen. And very calmly done in the end. But Ablett went to sleep.
Butt got through him, and it was a bit of an armful in there. And Butt just couldn't get his first touch right then to finish with a clear shot.
Better from Hughes. This is Irwin. Well, that's not a good ball. And the reaction on the bench of that incident. Joe Raw looks across, smiles and winks at Alec Ferguson. And his team lead through Paul Rideout's goal in the 30th minute. And from that moment onwards, Everton certainly had the better of it. Up to that moment, Manchester United had more possession without ever really mounting a threat to report. Anders Limpar, an excellent first half, and as the teams go back to the dressing room, Joe Royle will be saying, well, just keep it up. Alec Ferguson has a bit to do to reorganise and has to make a decision about his captain, Steve Bruce. Sponsored by Littlewoods Pools, but still a fascinating course to run, one suspects. And they've started off with Keane in the right back position and Gary Neville alongside Pallister. And a little push and shove between Hughes and Unsworth, two teams, and finding he has to change his role at the halfway point. Hughes, Owen, first touch for Giggs. Ball in for Butt. Mistake by Ablett. He survived one at the end of the first half. He survived another at the beginning of the second. Immediate impression made by Giggs, who rode the challenge, waited his moment. Mistake by Ablett. Good block, Southall. For Everton, that's Duncan Ferguson. Manchester United take the free kick. This is Giggs. Goes back on the left. In the first success for Everton back in 1906. Scorer, the goal which divides the teams, go off. And United, having brought on their young hero, here comes his counterpart at Goodison Park. If Giggs has created different problems for Everton, Ferguson would do likewise for United. All 6'4" of him. First challenge won by Pallister.
He's fully fit. He's had this injury in recent games. He was rested last weekend. I think he's in the side for his set pieces.
Here's Ferguson, if it will come down for him. Still Ferguson, turned away by Neville. To drive in the set pieces. Hits it longer this time, and the ball in fact curled out and back in. Good play to Stewart. Slowing it down when they seem to have started to make an opening. But patience is successful. Hinchcliffe. Ablett. Pass or shot. He got on instead of Rideout then, and Rideout actually wasn't as injured as seemed likely. Here's Giggs. 2-8 on the penalty spot. Teaser Giggs, beautifully done. Off Watson. McClare! Off the crossbar, may have been pushed up onto it. Wonderful play by Ryan Giggs. A sway on the byline that was perfection to watch. Look at this. And in came McClare. And did he get a touch? Yes, he did. But needed a bit of help from the crossbar and put over by Parkinson. In his country by coming on. They'll be watching with televisions in the streets. And it's Anders Limpar who is to come off. Swede retires from the scene, having played his part. The Nigerian comes on in his stead. A match finely balanced. Hinchcliffe. Ablett. Alistair just stood his ground. Hinchcliffe. See more of him down in this corner in the second half. See him in the attacking third too much in the first. Driven across by Ablett. And the punch beat the head. But it was very interesting that the Everton supporters, as their team played around with it on the left, were encouraging them to look for the head of the Scotsman. And they jolly nearly found it. As you saw the season, they were writing him off. He'll be 37 in September. But he's still a really good goalkeeper. There's an empty goal at the other end. Giggs to take. Schmeichel to launch himself along with the others. And here's Owen. The man who's... Schmeichel will take. Waves everyone out of the way. One last shout. Looks for Pallister. Hughes! Blocked by Watson. He's been everywhere, Dave Watson. They're leaving it to Neville for the long throw. Little bit of a push. Stewart away by Jackson. Here's Schmeichel. Wonderful finish. But it could be very hard to take for Manchester United. Here comes Southall. Almost came too far. Put up an arm and it rolled down it and stayed almost in the pit. Stoppage time being played. They can't wait to celebrate. The Manchester United supporters just hope the final whistle will not be heard. Here's Giggs. He's got to run a lot of blues. And he's going to get a corner. Up he comes again as Alec Ferguson looks at his watch. The man in green to challenge the man in yellow. Delivered in. Neville. Amakechi might score. He might score. Schmeichel is not going to get back. He's still in the centre circle. Still Amakechi, but they've now got two back. And he's just strolling back. I don't believe it. The cup goes to Goodison Park. Everton's fifth success, and how well led by the number 5. Third time lucky for Joe Royle against Alec Ferguson. The team that were battling to avoid relegation didn't win a match in the Premiership until the 1st of November. Had only 8 points out of 42 when Joe Royle took over as manager. Have survived and have won the cup. And Manchester United have ended with nothing. It's Joe Royle's day. They still look stunned and they still look delighted. Pallister sportingly goes to the opposition manager. And there are tears at the Manchester United end, while at the Everton end the celebrations go on. Joe Royle wanting to make sure that he can find a word for everyone. And here, Dave Watson, the captain.
And he's my man of the match, actually. I thought he was superb throughout the 90 minutes. Neville Southall made 2 or 3 vital saves, but for the consistency of always getting the foot in or just getting his head to the vital cross, I thought Dave Watson, and no player, I think, for Everton probably deserves the plaudit, because he's been a wonderful servant for the club.
Peter Schmeichel beaten once, and it counted for everything. Steve Bruce, the unlucky opposition captain who had to go off. Good sporting reaction from the supporters of Manchester United, who sing, "You'll always look on the bright side of life." Even in defeat, they will dance and sing, but they don't at the moment. Paul Rideout, the scorer of the only goal that has won for Everton the 50th FA Cup final since the war. First success since 1984, a decade in which they came 5 times. And they came 4 times here and won only the once. But this time they got revenge for that defeat in 1985. Neville Southall. The doubts really just disappeared as the season went on, and he played so well. And 10 years after, he climbed the steps to pick up the League Cup. Dave Watson picks up in a moment the FA Cup, sponsored by Littlewoods Pools.
And winners of the Littlewoods Pools FA Cup final, Everton.
He follows Dixie Dean, Brian LeBone and Kevin Ratcliffe as a winning Everton captain at Wembley. Prince of Wales hands the cup, which he shows to the fans of Everton, whose season has been turned round. And it means the city of Liverpool will go. Look at the disappointed, it would seem, face of young Prince Harry. His team will come again, that's for sure. Barry Horn, Matt Jackson. There's always somebody with a cap. It's the Swede, Anders Limpar, Joe Parkinson, David Unsworth. He was like that all afternoon with Mark Hughes. Scorer of the only goal, Amakechi, able to get his chance afterwards. So did Duncan Ferguson. Substitute goalkeeper Jason Curtin and Gary Ablett, and the winning manager. Why did they wait so long to let managers come up? They deserve it. Means that the city of Liverpool will have 2 sides in Europe next season. And And it hasn't happened for a decade. Nice reaction, Mr. and Mrs. Sir and Lady Bobby Charlton and Joe Royle. Good reaction all around the ground. In the season which has had so many problems, the contest was well fought, and the spectators have reacted in sporting fashion. It's been a good finale to the club season. Captured for posterity the moment that Everton won the cup. A little variation. Everton, because their supporters are at that end, obviously go to them first. So often, as in Stuart Barlow didn't get into the side, so often the lap of honour has been round the other way. Team photograph as the losing skipper and the young Welshman make their way from the pitch. Alec Ferguson said experience teaches you to be philosophical, and he's applauded by and applauds in turn the Everton supporters as he walks away. For so long they'd seemed certainties to lose their place in the top echelons, and instead they now have a basis to rebuild Goodison Park. The FA Cup is an awfully good way to start. And he wants to go on into his 40s, and on that sort of form, who can blame him? Came into this match with 4 wins against each other each in the FA Cup. Everton now ahead. Mass ranks of photographers wanting to capture the moments of triumph. And there's the biggest smile at Wembley. Joe Royle. It's a lovely moment, and here, what a contrast. His departure has seen Manchester United end with nothing except the runner-up position. Michael leaves the scene. Neville Southall in no hurry. So now they go to the other end, where the Manchester United supporters have taken their leave early. Bitterly disappointing end to the season for team. The Premiership trophy on loan to Blackburn, they say, and presumably they would add to that the FA Cup to Everton. But the day was a blue day in 2 senses. Success for the blue team of the city of Liverpool, disappointment for the red team of the city of Manchester. Dave Watson still with plenty of running in his legs. I don't think anybody would question your choice, Trevor, as man of the match.
No, he's been such a consistent player, hasn't he, for several seasons. Very strong, combative. He's helped the younger players around him, particularly David Unsworth. And well, I think you can see the passion and, you know, just the excitement of the occasion for him, and thoroughly deserved, I think, the man of the match. There were some other good individuals. I think Neville Southall, wonderful occasion for him so late in his career to be so instrumental in their victory as well, with the saves that he made. But I think also, of course, they'll be into Europe, won't they, those supporters? European Cup Winners' Cup, and I suppose spare a thought for poor old Newcastle, because it means Manchester United will go into the UEFA Cup, and Newcastle will miss out on Europe next season.
That's what it means to be the holder of a priceless medal, a winner's medal in the FA Cup. That one belongs to Anders Limpar, and I just wonder whether Neville Southall might be persuaded to stay and join the celebrations. Certainly he played his part in a victory for Everton by a single goal by Paul Rideout in the 30th minute. Oh dear, there's a danger the paint will run. Blue Nose departs. So pleased to have got his chance after coming back from a double hernia operation. Well, presumably his top half supports Everton. Just don't want to leave the pitch, and who can blame them? It's a very special moment to win the FA Cup, to go to the final, to be part of the party, whatever your role. It's something to be enjoyed, but if you lose, there is very little consolation. The losers were Manchester United. The winners, Everton, led by Joe Royle, from apparent disaster in the end to triumph at Wembley.
Congratulations to this Everton squad. Barry Horn, first of all, you've got the base of the cup with you here.
Yeah, I got the short straw, yeah.
Magnificent second half.
Yeah, it was a much better second half performance. Backs to the wall a little bit in the first half, but we defended well. The back four, Neville did magnificently again, and we just managed to hold on.
Dave Watson, rock solid performances again, man of the match today.
Yeah, they put us under the cosh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean it like that. We were under the cosh a lot of the game, so you know, defensively he's done well. I mean, the big fella Neville, he's made a couple of great saves there, and that's won us the game. That the big fella for us.
Now you've got the set now because you've got all the medals you need. But what will this do for the blue half of the city of Liverpool?
It'll really get it going again. I mean, we've been asleep for a few years now, and this has really got us going. And Europe next, so let's look forward to that.
Right, let's go along the line. Joe Parkinson. Joe, you said before the match at the start of the season you wouldn't have thought to get a chance at an FA Cup final, but fantastic.
Oh yeah, to beat Man United here, you know, what more can you ask for?
You were a Man United supporter in days gone by.
But not anymore. True blue. What a day.
You're enjoying the moment. Can you put it into words?
Not really, no. It's just, I'm not going to cry.
Right, later. Now, Daniel Amokachi in Nigeria, they'll be going absolutely crazy. They'll be going crazy in Liverpool too. Did you enjoy the experience?
Every step of it, you know. We started pretty good, and we had a goal in the first half. In the second half, the big man, you know, made a brilliant save, and he kept us going. And definitely back home right now, everybody's going crazy. Wow!
I'm sure they've been enjoying it. Congratulations. If we can just go back this way, Neville Southall. Neville, you've did some magnificent performances in your day, but those saves in the second half, surely they must be among the best you've ever made.
Not really, no. I mean, I think it's a team game, and it's a squad game, and they all pulled their weight today, and I think we thoroughly deserve to win the game, and shows what a good side we really are.
Now, will you go to the team banquet this evening? Will you join in the celebrations?
No, I'll go home.
You've got to stay now after a performance like that, surely.
When you've been with these lads as long as I have, you'll want to go home as well.
Paul Rideout, who scored the winner.
With the trophy.
There's the goal. We can show you a goal as well if that's the first time you've seen it. Can you talk us through this one, as they say?
Well, Dave Watson's got the ball. Great ball there. And
run from, mate?
Matt Jackson come up there. Anders Limpar made a superb run here. It's a good ball through to Graham Stewart. Graham's and Akers there.
Now, at this position, what were you thinking about?
Really, basically just get in the box and wait for the cross. But he came across a great ball from that. He's unlucky to hit the ball.
Graham should have been disappointed that didn't go in.
Well, he would be, but he's hit the target and it's gone in for us.
Now you've got the cup. Your career really has been revitalised over the past couple of months, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's very much so. I mean, that's all credit to the players and to Joe Royle especially. He's got belief in me and a lot of the other players, and it's given me the confidence to come forward.
Now, alongside you is Graham Stewart. Graham, Joe Royle really has got everybody going, shown faith in quite a few people. What is the secret?
Oh, I don't think there's much of a secret really. It's just like hard work and passion, and we showed that in abundance today and got the result we deserve really.
It's got to be the biggest moment of your football career. Can you put it into words when you're an FA Cup winning medal? Because there's millions of us who'll never experience. What are you thinking now?
I don't know, it's a mixture of thoughts really. I think we'll have to have a couple of drinks and settle down and then, you know, let it sink in first and then, you know, you can reflect on everything then.
Now, alongside you is Gary Ablett. You have made history now because you've played in an Everton Cup winning side and a Liverpool Cup winning side. You're a hero on Merseyside. Magnificent today.
I'll be hero in the blue half, don't know about the red half now, but yeah, I'm just pleased for everyone involved.
Can you sum up your team performance today? What was so good about it from your point of view?
I just think we battled like mad. I thought perhaps we could have had 2 or 3 there, waiting on the break second half, but didn't quite get the finished product. But I mean, we soaked up a lot of pressure. Never made a couple of brilliant saves second half, and I mean, as the lads have said, thoroughly deserved our win.
Matt Jackson alongside you. The way Manchester United, the way they were hanging on there, it looked like it could go either way, but the goal you scored was so important, just at the right time.
That's right, we hadn't started too well at that point, but we came the ball by that point, and I was just like, trying to support Anders. He never normally passes to me, so I thought it was quite safe. Didn't give me any time to worry about anything, and give it to Diamond, and obviously he missed. As per usual. With his eyes, they're not the best, but ball stuck in, job done.
Is it everything you expected, winning the Cup?
Oh, it's tremendous. When you see the fans out there and the reception, just walking up to the box, it's magnificent.
Just a final word from Gary Ablett, because you are a native Liverpudlian. For the entire city, red and blue tonight, they will support you, I think.
I think so. I mean, Liverpool have ended up with the Coca-Cola. We've got the FA Cup. So as I say, I mean, red and blue. I mean, there'll be all families together. People are likely to be celebrating all over Liverpool tonight.
Gentlemen, congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you. Watson gets the clearance in, and here's Limpar, and it's a 4-on-2 break. Stewart wants it to the left, Jackson wants it to the right, Rideout wants it down the middle. Still Matt Jackson,